Hi, everybody. So you got a quest, whether it be quest 2 or quest 3 recently, and you want to know some basics. I am here to help. So some very basic information. First things first, you may start out with tablet mode. Looks kind of like this when you start. It's just a short little window, but you can make it bigger. One thing I am going to preface is that my font size might be bigger than what you can make it, and that's because I've made some adjustments to my quest that I'm not going to go through here. But because of my vision, I needed it bigger, so I went through the steps to do it. But here is your clock with your profile avatar picture kind of thing. And to the very right of that is a notification symbol. And then to the right of that, there's something that says switch distance. Click on switch distance and you go to a much bigger window. You're probably going to start out on the Explore page at the very beginning. Let's just use the store page as an example because it's similar, so it'll look similar. So there's your store page, and with that, you can, using the side, these are called the grip buttons on your controllers, right down in here, like by the heel of your thumb. Your triggers are what's up top in front of everything. So you're gripping your controller, your triggers, what's that smooth button at the back. So trigger, grip. Then you have on your controller, I can't get my thumb out of the way to show you, but on the bottom, there is an A button. It's raised and smooth. Above that is a B button, raised and smooth. Down here, towards the crack of your thumb and forefinger, really, if you feel down in there, it's a recessed button, and it's commonly referred to as your Oculus button. This is the Oculus button on your right, and you also have one on your left. It's important to know the differences. And then that raised thing that swivels around, it's called your thumbstick. So, and same thing on the left. You have a recessed button and then a raised thumbstick. Portions that are at the top of your controllers are cameras and light sensors. Those are used for tracking. But yeah, here is your thumbstick right up here. If I can get it in a silhouette there, that's your thumbstick. You use your thumbsticks to scroll. So now I'm pulling back on my thumbstick and I'm scrolling down the page. If there's a situation where you can go left or right, I'm pushing right to scroll right, push the thumbstick to the left to scroll left. Okay, up, down, left, right. Now it depends on what it is that you got the quest for, whether you're wanting to go for social experiences. I just saw that listed, so I thought I'd mention it. Shooting games, just immersive experiences, fitness. There are all kinds of reasons to have a quest. So I'm not going to go into that specifically in this video, but I will likely do other videos that go over different games that you can get. So in order to grab this window and move it around, you use that side grip button and you hold it down, you grab it, and then you can move your panel around. You can't go over your head. You can only go up a certain amount of degrees. Same thing with going down. You can grab it with either hand, so no worries if you're left-handed or right-handed. And it tracks with your head. So if, like, I'm in a swivel chair, so I'm moving around and I just realized that I'm moving, but you probably can't tell because I have a void for a background. I do that again because of my vision. Having a lighted background is harder for me, actually. So let's go into switch distance. With switch distance, you can't grab your screen and move it around. But what you can do, utilizing your trigger button, this yellow bar that's at the bottom here. Used to be one here, but in any event, you can take this bar, pull your trigger and hold it, and then you can move that around just like you could by grabbing your screen. And it has the same limitations on how far you can angle it. Okay. Recentering. That recessed button, the Oculus button on your right controller, if you hold it down, I'm going to get rid of this for a moment so you can see the circle in action. Just keep an eye on this toolbar. As you can see, I'm seated and it's now below, my hands are on my knees, so it's below my knees. I'm going to hold down on the right button and I'm going to see a circle pop up. When it's done, I'll let go. There we go. Now you can see that my toolbar, that's what this is called, has moved and it's recentered my position. So now if I pull this back up, here's the store. There we go. So I'm going to pull that closer to me because, again, my vision. And I'm going to switch distance again. Pull that up. Okay. The thing next to your clock, and that's when you tap your clock, that's called your quick settings. You can do that with just hovering your finger near the clock. Your controller kind of slips away. You can also, if you double tap your controllers together, go to hands only mode. As long as I don't push a button on the controllers, my hands now are what's active, and they are my controllers. You can kind of see a faint outline of like a teardrop, and that is where you get to your menu buttons. So there's your recentering. That's what holding the Oculus button does. Muting would mute my microphone. I won't do that. Menu will bring up the main menu. Assistant is voice assistant, actually. So you can speak to the Oculus headset. Stop recording while I'm recording, so I don't want to stop that. And pass through, I don't have enabled on my Quest 2, so that's why it's not an option. I didn't want to choose any of those, so I just drew my hand away, and now you see that my hand has like a pointer associated with it. So there's the round. I got to remember to put my headset down far enough so that you guys can see what I'm seeing. I can go to my library or anything if I wanted to use a pointer, and that requires that you put your thumb and forefinger together to pinch. When you do it away from yourself, pointing that way, that's when you make your pointer. When you bring it to yourself and you have that little Oculus logo and pinch them, that's when you get that quick menu. Okay. So you can use your fingers. If you go to your notifications, here I have a notification that I left up after I started up the headset telling me that Puzzling Places is updated, it's installed its update, and it's ready to use. Okay, well, I've seen that notification now, so I don't need to keep it. And if you open up here, you have to, well, actually, I could just tap it, couldn't I? That's easier. I could either open it now or I can remove the notification. I'm going to remove the notification. There we go. Notifications are clear. They will clear themselves out once you've seen them pretty much. So, okay, we're going to go back to settings. At the top here is displayed your two controllers that are active and your headset battery. Now I have a backup battery plugged in, so mine's not going to go down very quickly because I do keep a battery attached to it to allow me to have longer playtime. Highly recommended. For the Quest 2 and the Quest 3, they weigh almost the same. So I use a 10,000 milliamp battery. MAH, I believe is the thing that comes after the number. And it's almost the perfect weight to take a lot of the weight from the front of the headset and pull it to the back of your head. It's really good for balance, and I find I use a Kiwi head strap and it helps a lot. Let's go to settings. So again, some of my words are not all listed where you can see them because my font size is so large, but regardless. Voice commands should be activated by default. But what you can do with your voice commands when you choose it, again, that is the assistant here, or you can double press your Oculus button on your controller. That's the recessed button down there. You press it twice, 1, 2, in that kind of cadence. Don't press and hold, or you're going to recenter yourself. And that's when you get your laser pointers back. But you can tell it to open apps. You can tell it to turn off apps, close apps. You can restart your headset with it. So for whatever reason, if you were to lose a controller, whether the battery dies or what have you, if you don't have your controller, you can always still shut your headset down by voice command. And it'll actually ask you if you're sure you want to shut down, and you tell it yes. You can also do so by holding the power button. If it's on the Quest 2, it's on your right. If it's on the Quest 3, it's on your left. Just hold it down for a good 10 to 20 seconds until you get the prompt asking, are you wanting to shut down? Okay. Your display, sound, there's voice commands. We were just there. Camera. Okay, something to know if you're recording the camera and you want to show friends a recording of your gameplay. It defaults on the left eye, which means what you're seeing out of your left eye is the perspective that the camera takes. It doesn't record out of both eyes at once. Otherwise, you'd have a split video where you see two lenses, two screens, and they're both displaying the same thing side by side. So it will choose one camera to look out of to make your recording. So if you have a dominant eye, mine happens to be my right eye because it's my better eye, it'll record with that perspective. So here I'm making sure to see the system menu, but in my left eye, it's almost cut off. So I make sure that it's focused in the left. That's just important to know. I don't believe that this is a feature from development mode or experimental any longer. Aspect ratio. So 1920 landscape mode is what you use for YouTube. So that's what I'm recording in now. Otherwise, you just get a little square box. So frame rate 30. And usually I have that set for 60. I don't know why that reverted to 30. And I go up to the highest possible bits per second, megabits per second. But depending on your internet speed, you may have to lower it. Anything really, though, with cloud gaming, your headset probably needs to be able to receive 20. It might be able to work with less. I don't know. Try it and see. Developer mode is something that I have active on this headset. I do not have it active on the Quest 3, but you certainly can. I just have chosen not to set both up for developer mode. Okay, that's the basics on that. Oh, actually, one other thing, software update. Probably the most important thing. Software update. So we're on V60 here. And I do have an update that's available. I can either schedule it or I can update now. I'm not going to update it at this moment because I am talking to you. But those are good to check. Okay. Power. When you set your headset down from default, it's like 15 seconds or a couple minutes, maybe 15 minutes, an hour. Because of the recording that I do, I leave it for 4 hours because sometimes I also use the headset to upload to YouTube, and I want to make sure that it doesn't turn itself off while it's trying to upload a video. So you certainly don't need 4 hours, but I would recommend having more than 15 seconds You know, if you have to run to the bathroom or something, maybe give it 5 minutes. This way, the display, both of these actually, that way it doesn't go into sleep mode as soon as you take it off your head. And when you come back, you don't have to fiddle around with how do I get back into my application or game. It leaves it running. And that's the reason I don't suggest you do 4 hours. I'm actually very good about turning off my headset all the time. But it definitely will probably not last 4 hours if you're not plugged in. So there we go. Now let's say that you have, let's go to the store. Let's say you've bought an app, and I'm going to go to applications actually. Unknown, you probably won't have anything in unknown. Let's say that you bought a game, just straight up bought it, like Smash Drums. We'll just go with Smash Drums. Let's say you bought Smash Drums. Obviously, I still have it. And you decide you don't like it. You've played it less than 2 hours and you've had the game for less than 2 weeks. Then it might even be a week in some cases. You won't be able to request a refund from here, but if you go into your mobile app, your Oculus app, either on your PC or your phone, I use my phone, and you go into your, it's at the bottom right of your phone. You can go into your settings. I think it's 3 bars. You tap that, go into your purchases, and click on Smash Drums itself, and you should see an option to refund. I'm just using Smash Drums as an example. Any game that you can return with a refund, you can ask for the refund there. Very few exceptions that it won't happen if you've purchased it regularly, meaning not part of a bundle. If you buy it with a bundle, there's really no option to refund. If you have to get the game on its own. So it's a good way to trial games, test games out if they don't have a free demo for you to try first. Okay, so that's how you would return a game. I would explain how to do the referral system if when you get a headset and activate it, if I understood how it worked. When I got my headset, I did not figure out how to do the referral. Somebody else may have a referral option video out there to explain it, because I can't. I don't understand how it works, unfortunately. Some of the most popular starter games that almost everyone will suggest that you get right off the bat are Beat Saber, Demio, and Big Screen. So Beat Saber is a rhythm game. It's like you get lightsabers and you swipe and slash blocks. I have a lot of videos using Beat Saber on my channel. If you want to check them out, see what the gameplay looks like. Demio is like a board game, but it's in 3D. And Big Screen Beta allows you to see movies and TV and different channels, but on a really big screen. So those are, and Big Screen is free. So those are some really good starting points after you do the tutorials that might be suggested in your quest that teach you how to use your controllers and that kind of thing. Okay. If for whatever reason, somehow one of your controllers just naffs off and you don't have it anymore, it's not listed, try to see if when you tap them together, if you go to hand tracking, if you do, then that controller is in there somewhere. It's recognized. What I've noticed sometimes when I lose one of my controllers, it's just for who knows why. Sometimes it just disengages itself. When I open Beat Saber and I look down, I can see the controller, even though I'm holding it in my hand. The controller handle is glowing and it's on the floor, in the floor. I can't reach down, I can't pick it up or anything, but it's there. It's just the tracking is gone. And at that point, I'll check for updates. to see if the system needs to update. I will restart the system entirely. I'll just do a reboot and see if that fixes it. I sometimes need to go into my phone app and unpair and then repair controllers. Not fix controllers as in repair, but like pair again my controllers. When you get your Quest, they're all automatically paired with your Quest. But if you have to pair controllers again, you go to the phone app, you go to devices, you pick your headset, and it'll show controllers. You have to be connected via Bluetooth, or excuse me, via Wi-Fi with the same network. So here I'm on 5, not 2.4. My phone is on 2.4. So if I want to use the app to do something with my headset, I have to put them both on 5. 5 is recommended. Okay. Settings. If you need accessibility, again, this is largest, but I have it even larger than largest, which you just can't do without modifying your Quest. So I'm not going to go through that process. There is a video on my channel about how to do it, but I'm not going to go through that here. So if you need, for whatever reason, you have one hand that's more dominant than the other, more mobility in it, these are where you find your mobility suggestions for changing settings. And here's some hearing. Live captions is fairly new. Previously, they did just have either switching to mono audio so that everything was in the left or the right. Live captions are new. Vision, there is color blindness mode and contrast setting. As you can see, mine is set all the way up. Again, that's for my vision. Okay. Devices, you can hook up Xbox controller. Here I have some earbuds, although not recommended for any of your gaming because there is some latency. Xbox wireless controller I use with my Xbox app. A PC, which I've just named after my cat, and you can scan for other devices. This LG, I think, is a Bluetooth speaker somewhere in the house. Okay, so controllers gives you options for changing, remapping your controllers. There's keyboard, mouse. If you were to do work from home kind of thing where you're looking for presentations and that kind of stuff, I assume that's when you would need a keyboard and mouse. Gamepad is use the gaze cursor, which is like it would make a white dot just in front of you, and whenever you moved your head, that white dot moves it. It means that it's head tracked gaze mousing. So like when you move your mouse, you're moving your cursor around. Gaze just means when you're moving your head, you're moving your pointer, you're moving your cursor around. You can turn that off. So allows you to use the gaze cursor with your head movement while using your gamepad. Press view and menu together simultaneously. Start and select on some gamepads to toggle the cursor off and on. That is referring specifically to an Xbox controller, I know for sure. And I have gaze cursor on currently. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Next time I use it, I'll see what that looks like. Now that I'm thinking about it. All right, storage. This is where you can see how much free storage you have. These are the games that I have installed. And you may think, gosh, that's not very many games and it's used a lot of your management. But much of this, those are my apps. So those are all of these things that you see listed, that first color. Then I have system, which uses almost 8 gigs just by itself. And that's just the operating system. Unknown sources, videos, and environments. So if you don't want a black void, go to settings. I was already in settings. All right, personalization. So virtual environments. Here you can choose different things. I have Dark Void active. But if I were to go to the Quest Dome, I already have it downloaded. See, it changed my virtual space. Here you can see your avatar. You play this glowing thing on the floor there. If you pull your trigger, you'll move there. Okay, I'm going to go back to the Black Void. Now, most of these say install. If you say apply. If I wanted to make a little bit more room, I could uninstall anything extra that I have applied, and that would give me a little bit more space. But honestly, these aren't that big. But that's what that is referring to in the storage section when it says environments. That's what that is. For me, unknown sources, which is at the very bottom of your applications menu. So I press this multi-pipped grid here. That's my library. It brings up all my applications. You can either have everything listed, and that includes things that are installed and aren't installed. Stuff that's grayed out is not installed. I don't have many things installed on this particular headset because of what I use it for, kind of as an as-needed basis. But most of the time, you're going to use installed to see what you already have and what you want to choose from. And you can sort that A to Z, Z to A, or most recent. Not installed if you wanted to, let's say I wanted to show off Angry Birds VR. Then I could install that, and then there it is. Unknown sources. This happens when you download something from a source that is not the MetaQuest store. So what gives me unknown sources is something called SideQuest. You're going to hear SideQuest mentioned, or side loading. Oh, there's an update available. Well, I do want to do that, but not right now. Okay. So we're going to leave that. I'm not going to update that at the moment. So this is SideQuest. When you hear people talk about modding Beat Saber, that's this. BMBF, that's your Beat Saber modder. Okay, virtual desktop is popular, but you can get it through the MetaQuest store. But this has a ton of games and apps. Some might be free that just haven't made it to the MetaQuest store. Here, I'll show you. I want to search for, again, you could use just your hands for this. Gives you an idea of the scale it is too. There we go. That's enough of it to virtual desktop. And it's going to seek it out. And there it is. So I don't want to open it, although it may. Let's see if it takes me to the store listing. Oh, it did. Good. Okay, I'm going to stop that from playing. So when you open up an app, first you see the gallery. That's going to be showing off what it does, like an introductory trailer, right? Then you get a summary, which describes to you what it is. More info gives you the information that you have to have. So you would need internet connected. Tells you what it supports. Excuse me. Tells you what it supports. Single user, not multiplayer. You can use it sitting or standing. Supports hand tracking. Supports touch controllers. That's what your controllers are called with the Quest. the refund policy on it. Offers in-app purchases. You know, I haven't seen any in-app purchases on it. I don't know what that's quite listed about, but there we go. Return policy, platforms that it works with. It says internet not required, but you are going to have to be able to communicate with your PC or laptop. So that's a little misleading. Okay. There's your version, release dates, websites, policies, record audio that allows it to use your microphone. Face tracking, eye tracking. Okay, so MetaQuest Pro users have eye tracking. Whoop, I accidentally tapped something. Didn't mean to do that. Let's go back to the store. There we go. Go back up to gallery. Stop that. There we go. All right, so we went through the summary, went through more info, privacy statement. This is what it uses. And reviews. Reviews are handy to check before you spend money on something. Just take them with a grain of salt. So when you see a bad review, you kind of want to take a look at it and see, am I in the same situation as the person that has a negative review on this? Am I in the same boat? Do I have better internet than that person does? Do I have a computer that is definitely capable of running VR? Because what you can do is bring up your whole PC desktop. And the thing about it is that it will be huge. It will take up, a wall, literally. I mean, my hands are real hand-sized. So this is true to scale. So this is how big your screen is, and it's even bigger in virtual desktop. So you can make it as big or as little as you like. Okay, so that's an example of that. And to buy things in the store, let's look at something that I haven't purchased. I need to get back to the store. Oh yeah, just close that maybe. Okay, camera, no store. Interesting. All right. Again, you can pull this yellow bar down to get that keyboard out of the way. Let's look at something that I haven't bought. Okay, these are Horizon worlds. When they talk about worlds to explore, that's Horizon. Let's just look at Bait. It's a fishing game. I have real VR fishing, so I'm not going to get another. But here, 8 different lakes. To me, VR fishing is a superior app. But here you got some reviews. If I didn't already have a fishing game, I'd look at it. People seem to really like it. Okay. And maybe it offers something that the other doesn't. But if I wanted to buy it, I would type this Get button. Apparently it's free. If you needed to purchase it, it would ask you to go through the purchasing information. Okay. This size here of the bait behind it, that's kind of your virtual desktop size screen. Okay, let's go to notifications. And you can see here that it's downloading bait. It's installing. I guess I have bait now. And I could either open it from here or I can go to my applications, go to installed, and there's bait. Because it's a B, it's very early up in the listing. So let's say I don't want to have it there because it's taking up room on my Quest, and I'll still own it, even though I didn't buy it, I still own it, I suppose, best way to put it, even if I uninstall it. So I have these games, but I can always come back to them. So I'm just going to click uninstall, and it's going to ask me, uninstall bait. Any saved data or games may be permanently lost. If you're not using cloud storage, that is definitely the case. So just be careful on how your games store as to whether or not you want to uninstall it. Just know that you could lose progress on some games. Most games, I have not found that to be the case, but some are. So I'm going to go ahead and click uninstall, and it just disappeared. And now it's in my not installed list. Alcove, Argec, there it is, bait. And I could get the option to install from here. Okay, I think that's about it. Some things here you can do if you need to mute your microphone for any reason, you can mute it from here. Like, let's say you're in a multiplayer game and you're talking to people in your house, and so you don't want to broadcast your conversation in a, like, say, a pool hall room, or Horizon Worlds or wherever it is that you're at. You can mute your microphone. Reset your view. Does just like holding down your Oculus button for a few seconds. It will reset your view. Night mode. Voice commands we went through. Switch distance we've gone through. Report a problem, bug reporting, move. Not sure what. Oh, move. That's whether or not you have your calorie tracker showcasing your calories burned while you're doing activities. I guess I could show you that real quick because it is a neat feature. So let's go to installed, or actually I could use my voice commands. I'll do that. I'm going to double press the Oculus button. Don't think you're going to hear it. Open move. Okay, so it's open move from voice command, and I click start. And here I can see the amount of calories that just started over today. So I haven't burned much. I've burned 22 calories just making this video. And move minutes, I've moved around physically for 2 minutes because I've been seated. Okay, but that's actually kind of handy to have when you're trying to keep track of your fitness exercise. So that's kind of nice. But I don't want the, hey, you're burning calories counter being broadcast above something all the time. I'm not that. I'm happy enough just to open the app to check it. Okay, switch distance back. How to shut down your Quest? You can do it by voice command. By double pressing 1-2, press the Oculus button on your right controller, and you can tell it that way. When after you hear the tone say shut down, it'll ask you if you're sure. You can say yes or no if you accidentally did it. You can also just hold down your power button and shut it down that way. Okay, is there anything? I will show you the browser. I do this in other videos also, but the chances of you having checked my other videos are kind of probably slim since you're new to Quest. But these glowy bits at the corners of this, if you point your cursor at it pull your trigger, and then pull your hand, you make it bigger. Bigger, wider, taller. It does have a maximum. So we're at the maximum here. And pretty much anywhere you can use a Google browser. In fact, you can even go to Google. There we are. And there's your keyboard, which again, you can move out of the way and you can search up whatever it is you'd like to. You can also go through and set up your voice commands so that you can use your microphone to do searches. Very handy. I love the Google ability to be able to do that. And if you need to make adjustments to font size in your browser, you can do that with this zoom function once you enter an app. So I'm at 200%, which is why it's so big. Some of you are probably thinking, oh my God, why is this so large? Well, it's because I'm legally blind. So every time you open it, you'll have to reset your make it bigger stuff, if indeed you do want to make it bigger. I will say that if you're uploading using the browser, you will want to make it bigger just so that you can see everything that you need to on the screen. Okay, so when you're on this main page, you can't make that bigger. This is the only screen you can't make the text bigger on, and I don't quite understand it, but it is what it is. But once you open up one of these menus, so here we're at Google, just opened up to some random page. You can now make that bigger. There you go. So we're at 400%, which is quite large. But if you have trouble seeing and you need to see better, there you go. I love these guys. Ah, that's fun. Okay. Strange dog makes good decision. Aww. So anyway, let's pull that down back to 200, make it more manageable. Okay. It does get a bit unwieldy when you get super big. Okay. So that's it. From here, when you want to start recording, this would be grayed out like these other options are. You point at it with your cursor, press your trigger, and click on that you want to do audio recording as well to get your voice. And there you are. I think if you do the shortcut, I'm not certain that it records your voice automatically. You're unable to cast when you're recording. Can't do both at the same time. It's either or. So I can't really show you the casting function, but when you do choose to cast, you get an option of places to cast to, whether it be from your phone or to a TV that has the appropriate casting ability built-in software. I know that they're working on changing how casting works. It used to work fine with certain televisions and dongles, but there's been some changes. But you can still, as far as I know, you can still cast to your phone app. You might have to allow the permission for it. Make sure to follow all the dialogue choices. But if you're letting someone younger play and you want to monitor what it is that they're doing while they're in the headset, since you can't see it outside the headset, this would be a way you can cast. That way, one, they're not recording and they're not going to be, streaming without you knowing. But you can keep an eye on exactly what it is that they're doing, and that they're in appropriate places. There are parental settings as well that you can set once you get into your settings and take a look around for the parental controls. You can set up, like, for instance, I have a password protected sign in so that if something did happen and somebody got a hold of my headset, they wouldn't just be able to buy stuff willy-nilly. They'd have to enter my passcode in order to use my payment methods, as an example. Okay, that's it. This was just a very basic get to know your Quest kind of thing. I hope you found it helpful. I'll see you later. Have a good time. Happy gaming.